Down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are live. It's Vinyl Conversations on this lovely Sunday. How are you guys doing?
What's
Look,
good,
still waiting
y'all?
for that. This is Vinyl Conversations. We are your hosts. I'm Latifa. That's Chamarisha over there. She's giving a peace sign today, which is good. All right. So you guys know what we do in this group. We analyze the lyrics to specific songs, no matter what genre it is. That's what we do. We go over the lyrics, and we have to get the whole disclaimer stuff out of the way. So Facebook, we do not own the right to any of this music. It's for entertainment purposes only, entertainment and educational purposes only. So please do not mute us, and yeah, that stuff.
We do not own the rights to this music. It is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Okay.
I'm outside
So
today,
even
guys, so this is what you get today.
hey, but it looks
Lovely
nice.
Arizona background. No,
Looks nice. What, it's like 80 degrees?
70 something probably.
Oh, okay. But look, so instead of having Facebook mute us, we're just gonna post the song that we're doing in the group. So you'll see that instead of us playing like we usually, play it a little bit of it. We're not gonna do that this time, because on the last show we did and you guys weren't able to see the live. So we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna post the link. So, we'll just keep all that out of the Facebook algorithms, like CC Pennington said. So we'll just keep all that stuff out. That face.
Haters.
Look, that part. Okay, so without further ado, please welcome the one and only. He's a hip hop artist, a clinical social worker, scholar, motivational speaker, and writer from South Central. Please welcome Ahmad to the show, guys.
Hey, how
Hey,
y'all doing?
clap, 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 clap.
Thank you for coming on, Ahmad. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for coming,
Yeah, it's all good.
Thank you for understanding Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, I try to be on time.
I'm just saying, we have a lot of people, when we say Pacific Standard Time, they don't know what that time zone is. So they show up at Eastern Standard Time and we like,
No, I know. And I try to be sensitive to that because I know everybody has a schedule. So if I say I'm going to be there, I usually try to be there.
that's what's up. Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt.
All good, all good. So look, let's get it. Let's get into the song here. I'm not gonna sing.
I'm
but
going to sing that shit.
Sing it. I
but
love it.
everybody knows the hook, so we'll just go here.
Back in the
Back
day
when I
when
was
I
young,
was
I'm
young,
not a
I'm not
kid
a kid
anymore.
anymore. But some days I sit and
But
wish I
some
was a
days
kid
I sit and
And
wish
again.
I was a
everybody
kid.
say,
I
I
remember
remember
way
way
back
back when.
when
And everybody
everybody
say,
say, I remember way back when, and everybody say, I remember way back
I remember way
when
back
back in the
when.
day, what back in the day. Come on now.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's a classic joint right
It's
there.
so class. I almost
You
don't
know
need the
what?
lyrics, but I don't want to fuck it up. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny, man. I wrote that when I was 17, so it's amazing.
17, and what year did this come out? Everybody, we're
It
talking about back in the day. So
it
just in
came
case
out
you
in
don't know.
94.
In 94, you were 17.
I
Well,
was
when you wrote it, you were 17. It came out when you were how old?
I was 18 because I,
A
I
year?
got my deal in high school and I
Oh
recorded it.
wow.
Actually, I wrote it while I was a senior in high school, and then we put it out that following year. So I was ahead of the game. That's why, people thought I was a lot older, but I was a kid when I was rapping about back in the day.
Man, you was the same age as me. Like
That's what I'm
what?
saying. So yeah,
and the way you the way that the lyrics go, you know, biker shorts, like all of that was like, it really seemed like it was a long time ago, but it really wasn't. Like,
Yeah, and I was like in my, in my middle school, we called it junior high back then. They all had
mhm.
on biker shorts. I literally got that from this girl, Monique. She used to have poison on her biker shorts. And I remember
Airbrush,
that while I was
airbrush.
airbrushed with the Turkish links,
Yeah.
all that. And I was like, okay, I'm putting all this in her. And I'm so happy I did because, as Black people, we need to have our own like history. A lot of times
Right.
they don't remember it the way it really went down. So we have to tell our own stories.
Absolutely. You're right
Yeah.
about that. No
Right.
question. Like just the stuff you say, he was like, and now when you hear it for real, this for real back in the day. Now it's like, dang,
Now
yeah,
it's real back in the
that
day,
really was back in the day.
It's like the 60s for us. That's how it
Right,
feels now for the
right,
kids. Like, oh,
right.
back in the 90s.
When you was
And I'm
wearing
like, wow.
airbrush.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
was
crazy how
Yeah,
time
because
just like,
even when you say, like in the beginning of the verse, you said I was just a little nigger. I'm looking up to my bigger bro, beg if I could kick it. So when he went out macking with other girls, so it's like, was that stuff
yeah.
like? Did you really have a brother, or was it?
You know what? I really do. And it's a sore subject for me because we're not talking right
Oh,
now. And I know I'm smiling, but it's like because I'm in so much pain about it. Um, and I posted it on my Instagram. I'm like using social media to try to, even this interview, if my brother's watching, I want him to know I love him. And that song, you can remember going all the way back then. I've always been trying to have a connection with my brother. Listen to that lyrics. I begged if I could kick it. I didn't say, oh,
yeah.
my brother invited me along. Even back then, I was begging to kick it. Like, you're my older brother. We both don't have our dad around. So he was kind of like a father figure for me. And he was going through his own trauma. And like you said, now I'm a mental health expert of sorts. And I can kind of look back and see how all that trauma played into our lives growing up and how it's contributing to the dysfunction that we have now as adults. So I'm actually taking a break from my documentary right now to do this, but that's going to be the first episode of my new show, The Ahmad Show. And I'm doing my documentary. I want everybody to know where I've been, what I've been up to, because I know that's a question. Like, after that song, what did you do? What happened?
oh, that's our question. So
That's the question. So I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm making a whole like full documentary,
That's what's up.
20, 30 minutes. And that's gonna be my first episode, like just a reintroduction.
That's what's up. That is real cool, bro. Like, cause that was gonna be our other question. Like, what you basically doing the show for us? So continue, cause we ain't got no questions, cause you just gonna answer all the ones we normally.
Yeah. And it's a long story, but in a short, make sure you tune into the Ahmad Show. That's coming soon on YouTube. But really quickly, what I'm trying to say in the documentary is basically how you rise like that. And like I said, I was basically a child star. If you think about it, 17, really had nobody but me. I executive produced my first album. Um,
Dang,
at that
that's
age,
impressive. At 17,
at 17, I was
Yeah.
that's
calling all
impressive.
my shots. I didn't have, but the problem is I wasn't signed to like a Def Jam or a So Def, like one of those labels that had
Right.
producers and an infrastructure.
Right.
I was literally on my own on this small label called Giant Records, and they had people like Jade and Color Me Bad and like all these R&B
Wow, I
groups.
haven't heard Jade name in forever. Like, that's what's
Don't
up.
walk away.
Away,
Oh, you remember, I
boy.
love Jade. So
Hey,
they had
my
some,
love won't
yeah,
hurt you.
uh-oh.
Hey.
But no, those kind of groups, they had Hammer, but I was like the only real MC, like the only like lyricist, like, rapper, hip hop artist on the label. And
Right.
so I produced, like found a sample for back in the day. My homeboy Maurice, his friend Jay Supreme produced the remix that blew up. But I found that Teddy Pendergrass loop. I wrote the song. Like, we did everything. The label didn't really, they just kind of took it and put it out. But I didn't
So
have a
you
lot
own
of
your own
help.
stuff?
I don't own those masters. No, Giant owns
Oh,
those masters, but I own the song. along with the
Oh,
other
okay.
writers. So I do have my publishing, you know, and I still get checks
Yeah.
from that. But the
Man,
label went out of business, to make a long story short, and I was kind of stuck. I made a second album. It never came out. And it wasn't like now where you can go on SoundCloud or social media,
and just drop
explain
it.
to everybody,
Right.
this is what's happening. Here go another song to hold y'all over. You needed the machine back then, or it was
Right.
like you were
There was
disappeared.
the internet was slowly but surely becoming a thing back in
Right.
the 90s. Like that was it was slow, it was there, but it was slow motion. Like now it's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. It's everywhere. But back then it was like you had it in school and you had to go to the library. Like you didn't have a computer at home. Like if you did, you
Yeah.
was rich. Like that
And
was some
people
rich
weren't
shit.
accessing music from artists like that. They were still
No, hell
buying it,
no. No. You still
CDs. And
buying CDs.
yeah,
You couldn't steal
Going to
music.
shows.
There was no
going to
Lime
shows.
Wire. Like
Yeah. So I kind of
None of
like,
that.
you know, my identity was wrapped up in being an MC. Because like I said, since I was 9, I've been rapping. And then when I was 13, I kind of said, I'm going to really be a hip hop kind of like, that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I
So
devoted myself to it.
how did your family, I know you said you didn't have that, but like how did your mom deal with like how you were becoming so, what you wanted to do? Like, okay, you say that's what you want to do, but like how did your mom handle like the stardom that came with you being a teenager? And
She's so religious, you know, because we grew up in church. So
shit,
she
we
was
all
like,
did.
yeah. So she was like, oh, don't make the devil's music, you know, you out here, you
Not the
know, and I,
devil's music.
yeah, you know, she didn't want me to like make gangster rap and like
Right.
don't do. And if you listen to my music, it's never been that.
It's
It's
not.
always
No,
been
absolutely.
positive.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's not. But you know what I mean? Like the devil's music is what we was listening to. Too Short. And
Yeah,
then
all the
Too
stuff
Short
I
was
was sneaking
dead.
to listen to.
We
Short
all
dog.
snuck and listened to
Yeah,
Short Dog.
you
Everybody. Like
know,
I don't
come
care
on.
who you are, unless you didn't have zero parents, you was listening to Too Short. You was getting in trouble. Like that's
I
not
was listening to
okay.
everything because I just was a fan
But
of hip
but
hop.
it's definitely it was definitely a Cali feel all day with your music.
Absolutely.
So it was
Absolutely all
definitely
day.
Cali
You could
vibe.
tell you was from the West Coast. Like there was no mistaking that. Like
And that's what
nothing.
I love because, you know, it was myself, the Far Side, you know, Souls of Mischief,
Yep.
groups
The
like that
Far
were
Souls of
Side,
Mischief.
yes.
kind of coming with that LA sound. And it was a movement for a second. And, you know, I was singing on my songs. That's me singing the hook. That's me rapping. So a lot of people like, oh, Drake is singing and rapping. And we were doing that. You know, I was singing on back in the day. And so
Like, yeah, like I was doing that back in the day. Like, yeah,
literally, you know,
literally.
so I think it's something, you know, a lot of times, even if you go to people like Domino, the West Coast has always had like kind of like a melodic type
Domino
sound.
is definitely
Yeah.
here we go, here we go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. We were just
yeah, I
talking
mean,
Yeah.
about
yeah,
that the
that
other
that
night.
that goes, yeah, yeah. Like it's just
Yeah.
one of those things. Like if this is OG, like it
Yeah. It's
really
so
is just
dope.
that mellow, like you know what I mean.
Feel good music.
Good, feel good music.
And then you add E40, then you get a little hyphy. You know what I
E40, you got the
mean?
whole Bay Area. So
Yeah.
I love it all, you know. But I grew up doing underground kind of lyricist hip hop, like really
Mm.
battle rapping. And then back in the day for me was an anomaly. I actually didn't even like the song because
What?
I thought it was too simple because I was used to like flowing, you know, like da 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 da. And I was like, that was like when I was just a little da 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 da. But everybody at the studio was like, no, man, like it's amazing. And I was
That's
like,
that
well,
one.
let me
That's
keep
that
it.
one.
And I'm
That's
so
that
happy I
one.
listened because I'm
That's that
still doing
one.
interviews about it.
It
Good.
still comes up on the radio no matter what. If you listening to like that song is getting played, well, I'm sure you know because you get royalty, so you know how often
Yeah.
it gets
I mean,
played
that
on the
song, but
radio.
even the album, you know, like King Kunta,
Yeah.
you know, Kendrick's new song. I'm if you check the credits, AhmadAliLewis. I got writers on that because he
That's
sampled my
what's
album.
up. That's
Mariah
what's up.
Carey, Jeremiah and Ty Dolla Sign, the Wood, you know, Jason's
Yep.
lyric.
Jason lyrics.
I've been on so much stuff, you know, and people don't really realize, but we were signed to Interscope. I had a band. We for like
Yeah. Fourth Avenue
10
Jones.
Fourth Avenue Jones. We went overseas. So I'm just an artist. I'm not like a rapper. I'm making films now. you know, I'm a real
It's
artist.
entertainment. It's entertainment.
Yeah, and
for
more
sure.
than entertainment is storytelling. Like even if you listen to my raps, it's not like bullshit. You know, I'm talking
Right.
like it has a beginning, middle, end. It's a story. And so I just figured out, I was like, well, I've always just been a storyteller. So that's how I got into filmmaking and creating content for my show, which is going to be very cinematic. It's because I just said, okay, how does that look in 2020? I'm not like in a cipher rhyming anymore, but what does it look like for a grown Ahmad to be a storyteller? And it looks like being a filmmaker. And so that's why I'm making films. Still making music. It's more like soul music, doing a lot more singing. But it's all storytelling, you know.
I agree. Well, you know what?
So,
Can you do some of the lyrics? I just want to because we skipped all the way over the
oh yeah,
lyrics.
yeah, no,
Oh
no, I'm
yeah,
going back.
yeah. Let's go
I'm,
to the list.
yeah, I'm going back into the lyrics. So, so here in verse 2, it says, I'm still back in the days, but now the year is 87. 88, that's when my crew and I were in junior high. In 7th grade, I hated school, wish it'd blow up. So is that the same? Did you have that mentality like then, but after the fact? Because you went to school for psychology, right?
I went to school for social work. I got a master's
Yeah,
degree in social work. Yeah.
so how did that play out? Because it's like, did you really not like school?
And that's so funny. You know, the thing about me, and it's so crazy because I try to tell the kids too. One second. I try to tell the kids, and I'm so raspy, I know, but I try to tell the kids about how my story went because I think it's really inspirational because a lot of people will talk about going to Harvard and Stanford and these schools, Ivy League. And they did everything right. Like they were in the right kindergarten. They got put in private schools. I'm from South Central. Not only am I from South Central, I'm from other people who lived in South Central were scared to come to my hood. I'm from the worst part of South Central. I'm from like the hood of the hood.
Right.
The gang around my house, which I won't even say it because I'm not affiliated with that, but it was anybody killer on the wall. That was by my house. It wasn't blood, crip, anybody killer. And anybody knows where I grew up, they know what I'm talking about.
So you lived in the anybody could get it hood.
Anybody can get it, and I walk home every day.
So you the ones where we was like, so it don't matter if you yellow, it is a gang. Like to them, every color was a gang. We used to be like, man, you go to LA, every color is a gang. So you live y'all probably started it. Like not you specifically, but you know what I mean? We was like, so yellow is a gang color? Like, you better be careful. Like,
gotta be careful
and
wherever
like,
you
well,
go.
I'm gonna wear all white. They was like, that's a gang too. All black, that's a gang too. Like, God, like, what ain't a gang?
And especially back
I'm
then,
from
it was
San
active.
Diego, so
Yeah.
you know what I mean. When we go to LA, you know, you got to tiptoe around, and when you get ready to go to LA, you got to ask them questions like, so where you live in LA? What do we need to be wearing?
Trees and everything looks nice, so you don't even realize you
in the whole motherfucking hood. You about to die today if you got on yellow. So be careful.
Yeah,
you like go down there like, so can I wear a checkered shirt? Like, what about like green, orange, yellow? Like, you know?
No, that's true. That's true. You ain't
I'm
lying.
laughing, but I'm dead ass serious. Like that. That's just the
we grew
way
up with
it
that.
was.
Yeah, and a lot of my friends died, and but the thing with me is my mom had a strong mom, and she got me bused. I got bused to school. So even though I was getting D's and F's and doing just enough to play football and to pass, I still was in honors classes because they said I was gifted or whatever, put me in the gifted program, but I was writing raps in class. So that's why my grades were bad. It wasn't because I didn't understand the work. It was just
You was bored.
I was focused on being a rapper.
You was like whatever y'all talking about.
Yeah, I'm in class like this is not gonna do nothing. Like I know this hook right here is finna do it, and I was right because I got a deal before I graduated. I paid for my prom. My mom was happy. But that's the reason I try to tell my story because I had D's and F's. I never thought I was gonna go to college, and then after my band broke up, I had a 1-year-old son. I was married to one of the members of the band. And I was like, I got home, band broke up, income stopped. And I was like, I'm a 29-year-old, because at that point I was 29. I said, I'm a 29-year-old rapper. I basically got a PhD in rapping, but no skills that I can go get a job or try to do something else as a hustle besides music. And it was very vulnerable. I felt like I'm too smart to have all my eggs in one basket. What am I doing? And I looked at my son, and it was traumatic for me, because I was also having like a crisis of sorts, because I was well, that's going to be in the documentary. It's so much going on, but I basically went back to school. I went to City College, and I just said, you know what? The same energy I gave to music, I'm going to give it to school and see how well I can really do if I focus. And then 2 years later, I was valedictorian. And then I went to Stanford, got accepted to Stanford, took my son with me. And then after that, I went to USC, got a master's degree. And, I love that story because a lot of times you hear rappers and it's like, if I wasn't rapping, I'd be robbing people and I'd be doing it. And I like to show like, no, like if I'm not rapping, I'll be at Stanford. You know what I'm saying? We can do it all.
Catch me getting this knowledge.
And we'll take that route. And now I'm working as a counselor, therapist. And all of that is coming full circle on my YouTube show because I'm a creator coach. So what I'm doing is the channel is to inspire and to give personal development coaching for creators. You might be doing well with your grind and your hustle, but be depressed, not feeling well. Like me at the height of my success, I still felt like shit in my hotel room, crying, pocket full of money, no peace, trying to find happiness, and it wasn't there. And a lot of that required me to do a lot of work. And now, giving therapy and counseling to other people and still being an artist, it's a unique lane that I'm in. So that's what I want to provide to the people.
That's dope. That's dope.
And that's really good to provide because, like you were saying, back then that type of stuff was kind of like probably like cliche, like we don't talk about this.
Absolutely,
we keep this under the rug. You're an artist, you're a rapper. We're not going to talk about this.
Yeah, especially Black men, and Black people. A lot of times, even women. It's like, well, be strong. You're a strong Black woman. You can take it all. You can go to work. You can do this. But we're human beings, man. It's like, I'm actually feeling down. Where do I have a safe space to say that?
You don't.
Or where do I have somebody who can kind of coach me through it when I'm feeling like giving up? But I don't want to admit that.
You don't.
So that's what my show is about.
You don't. And a lot of times, and this is now a lot, especially for Black men. Like we all, as a Black people, when it comes to therapy, we're not that kind of person,
Yeah, no doubt.
Like I am, but there's our parents or our grandparents. When you get to talking about a therapist, they get to looking like ain't nothing wrong with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there was no outlet for that, and you're right. And even now, as Black men, like if you, like you said, you was in your room crying and because you just wasn't on that level, Black men don't have the luxury of showing that to anybody.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, because if you show that to somebody now, they forget you human. They just think like you soft. Like,
yeah, quit being a mark. Pull it together.
Not a mark. Oh shit! I ain't heard that in a long time.
Quit being a mark.
I heard that for a long time.
A long time.
But you're right though, and it's sad because it's not it's lack of the psyche of humanity. Like people are human, and if you can cry, this person can cry.
And that's why I like being vulnerable. And like, even like, I got D's in high school. It makes the kids feel better, but I still ended up doing well. And in college, it's not all over if you get off to a bad start.
But
you
that's
can pull
education.
It together.
That's education. If they don't get that education, they're just thinking like, well, I'm bad in school, so I don't know what I'm about to do. Guess I'm gonna sell drugs and be in a gang and then get killed or go to jail. Like they think that that's the only option when you don't.
And if you don't have anybody else showing you something different, how will you ever know?
Absolutely. Same as you. I brought home like almost all F's one time. My mom dang near lost her mind, but you know what I mean? Like you just, that was my biggest fear. Like, man, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna get killed because.
Same with me. But she left me alone though. She was just like, long as you keep going up grade to grade and don't get held back. That was my mom's
All
thing.
we
Like,
had to do was graduate high school. That is
just
all we had
graduate.
to do. That's
Yeah.
all we had to do. There was no expectations of college. There was nothing. Just grad, because for them, graduating high school was the struggle.
That's
So
right.
for
My
us, it was
mom wanted
like,
me to go to college though. She was like, if you don't have a deal by the time you graduate high school, you
oh, so
gotta
you was
either get out
determined.
or go to college. And I was like,
you
uh-oh.
you was determined, and
Yeah, she put the pressure on.
that's another cliche thing to where when you turn 18, your parents is like, well, if you turn 18, you got to get out. Like, you can't just make your kid go. Like
No,
they're not ready for the world. Like, they are
not at
still
18.
kids. They
Yeah,
are
everything I
still
know now,
kids.
that's like, and I
First
was
of all,
out there. Like, I mean, I'm talking about I went around the world by myself, just a kid,
Oh,
like
wow.
literally no super. I had like managers, but they were literally working for me. It wasn't like the kind of situation
you
where
didn't have any
kid,
real supervision.
I was
Not
calling
your
every
mama
shot.
wasn't there. Your mama
No,
wasn't
no.
there.
And it was not good for me. I wish I had like somebody, to help me.
I mean, but you learn from that, and then you can,
Yeah.
like, now you're talking about that because that's some real, you know what I mean? You got over that. It probably took some work,
It
of
took a
course,
lot of work.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You get there.
And I
So
can't wait to talk about the work because that to me is the exciting part
That's
because
key.
we always hear about like, what went wrong, but then how do you bounce back from it and like reinvent yourself and come back better?
you really got to work on it. And it's hard work working on yourself, whether people believe it or not. Like, that's real hard work.
It's real. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And this is the best version of me that's ever been
I
alive.
agree with that. I
I'm so
agree.
much better as a human being than I've ever been. So I'm grateful for the struggle, honestly, because if it got me here, that's kind of what it took.
The path you needed to go.
Right. And then look, and then we wouldn't have this classic music.
Wouldn't have the
This
music,
classic
you
We
know,
wouldn't have the music. So,
you know.
so
good.
when you say you were like going overseas and all of these things when you were young, I'm just gonna ask my question now. Normally, I ask it a little bit later in the
Hmm.
show. So being that you were so young, 17, 18, when all of this was going on, um, at what point did you realize, like, yo, like I'm famous, like I made it? Was it somebody you met that was famous? Was it a fan? Was it, you know
You
what I
know
mean?
what's
Was it
crazy?
going overseas?
It's when I went back to my high school because I was on the
Mm.
team, right? The year right before, like I said, I graduated back in the day, came out that next summer. So I still knew everybody in the school. It wasn't like I was coming back a few years later as this star Ahmad. Those were literally my friends. And so I went back to school to see a game, thinking that was going to be kind of like a safe space, like everybody
Mm.
here already know me. So, and it was so, that's when I knew whatever famous, I don't even like that kind of stuff, but I knew that I was like, it was a different world for me because I went to the game. And then as soon as I got into the stands and I kind of like was at the top of the bleachers, and I'm serious, like the whole bleachers just came up to me like a mob. And I was like, what are
Wow.
y'all? I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, it's just me, you know what I mean? Like, and they were just going crazy. And I had to like get out the bleachers. It was a hazard. I was like disrupting the game. And I was just like, damn, I'm famous. And
That's
I didn't
awesome.
necessarily like it though. That's the crazy part.
Mm.
Because I wanted to be great, but not famous. It's weird.
You wanted to do it, but you still wanted the background part, the part where you just backing it, like,
Right.
yeah, I did it, but I'm still like, that's like a cameraman. Like, a cameraman knows what they, you know what I mean? They know a lot about the business, but they never want to be in front of the camera. They want to be in the
Yeah.
back.
And I wanted to be in front. I just was naive and thinking that if you kind of stayed humble and plain and kind of grounded, because I would even tell people, like, why do you want my autograph? Like, it's just my name on some paper. Like, let's just discuss, let's talk, have a moment, and then you can leave with like an actual
Some
moment
knowledge.
instead of just having me sign something. But I was on some other shit. Like I've always been on, and I didn't realize back then that that could even be offensive in a certain way. Because if you're not on that level, it may seem like I'm just not trying to give you an autograph, but I was trying to speak to the humanity in both of us, and the
Right.
idea that there's no separation. There's no like big here and then this little person. I just have a different job. You know, that's my job. You a plumber, you a teacher, I rap, he does this. We all the same. That was always my mentality.
Right.
Right.
Right. I could dig it.
So let's go back to the lyrics here. So right here, where it says dudes had on Nike suits and the Pumas with the fat laces, because it was either that or K Swiss. I miss those days, so I pout like a grown jerk, wishing all I had to do now was finish homework. It's true
Homework.
you don't really realize what you got till it's gone, so I'm not gonna sing another
Singing
sad
up the
song. But sometimes I do sit and reminisce, then thinking about the years I was raised back in the
back in
day.
the day.
Wow. I
Hey.
love that. I
So how
love
does
it.
that
Listen.
feel right now? Listen, hearing that.
You know what? It feels great because I remember writing it, and you know, it took me some time to write, and I'm just happy that you all are moved by it because that's always what I wanted to do was to move people with my words and have them actually kind of feel something. It's all about emotion and taking you somewhere. And when I hear those words, I just feel like they did exactly what my intention for the song was. Because people come up to me and they're like in tears, like, you know, about back in the day. Like every time I listen to it, it takes me back. I remember my father, I was this. And it's like bigger than me at this point because people, it's a part of people's lives. And some people don't even know my name, but they know the song. And that to me is what I mean by be great but not famous. Because you know, you know my work, even if you don't know me, like you hear King Kunta, even if you don't know I was involved, you still feeling Ahmad, you know, and so I love that. Like my films, you won't necessarily see me acting in them but you'll be feeling like, man, Ahmad wrote and directed that. Like I feel him. And that's how I want to be. I want to be like the kind of person when people look back over my life, be like, man, he started as a rapper, then he went to this, then he went to that. But everything he did it with excellence. And he always did it to shine a positive light on, especially black people, you know.
I could dig it. You got some K Swiss
Exactly.
though?
I don't rock my K-Swiss anymore, you know. I'm like,
Some kids
No
don't even
Pumas.
know what K Swiss is. So
I don't
there's
have any
that.
Look,
Puma. I do need to get, I do like what Puma's doing recently. I need to rock some Puma.
They
I'm
got some
more
nice
like,
shoes out now.
they do. I'm
yeah.
more, you know, Adidas, Nike, like old school, like just
Oh,
classic.
so you got some Cortezes?
I don't.
How you back in the day and you ain't got nothing
I
back in the
know.
day?
I know. I'm like
He
kind
got
of
the fat
modern.
kid. He got the laces though. You got the laces,
We,
the
I
shoes.
have a pair of, I do have a pair of shell toes, so that is still in
All
effect.
right. All
I got
right.
Vans.
I
I have Vans.
guess.
That's kind of old. I have some Vans.
See, the
Van,
Vans is a
okay. I,
Cali
I'll
thing
give
too, though.
I'll give it to you. I'll
That's
give
a
it to
Cali
you.
thing. I know.
I'll give it to you with the fat laces and the bands, because you
That's
know
right.
that's how we do it. If you just said Chucks, I'd have let you ride with that one too.
I
So
need to get a pair of Chucks. Honestly, I do need. Everybody need a pair of Chucks.
I don't have a pair of Chucks. I'm just talking shit. Right? They make your feet look so big, yo. It's like, man,
That's
why
the
do my
thing with
feet
me,
look
and
so
I don't
12?
have a lot of arch. I have to wear in so any kind of flat
Oh,
shoes,
so you flat
even
feet.
Vans
So you
sometimes
flat
bother.
footed. Yeah,
Yeah.
Vans is not okay for you, sir. Like, yeah, stick
So
to
I have
Nikes.
inserts with them because I just like the style, but it does hurt me. If you see me in Vans, know I'm in pain, but I'm sacrificing for the fashion.
You sacrificing.
That part.
That's
All right.
funny.
So
That's
look.
funny.
So on verse 3, the here you say, you know, you're all grown up. You know, you're 18 and you can say, I'm holding down a steady job and crew, you know, the crew steady mobbing. So you're 18 and you're saying you're grown up. Like
Yeah.
that mentality there where you really like, okay, I'm grown, but you're
Yeah.
18.
You know, that's the thing. When we were in the studio, we felt like adults already. And I think the thing is, that's why I was able to write a song about childhood because I felt so grown. Like I said, I was running the business. You know, we had been struggling to get a record deal from like, you know, 14, 15, like actively trying to be professionals. I wasn't coming home my whole senior year. I was at the studio. So I was like a weird kid in that regard. Like I was already grown. And so that's why I even call myself in that song a grown jerk, wishing all I had. Because I knew high school was a special time because it allowed you the freedom to just focus on being a kid and doing what you wanted and no responsibility. But even after signing my deal, I felt like a lot of that adult responsibility already. And so I already was kind of reminiscing about, you know, being younger, even though I was whatever, 17, 18. Yeah. So
just even now, just thinking about the lyrics, it really is just like, man, I am really grown now, and I wish I did only have to do homework. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
you know.
if you listen to it now, you're like, man, I wish I did all that. Now I got to pay bills and do all this extra stuff.
And
Like,
then with coronavirus and all that, can you even go to school and see your, you know, you used to complain about having to go, but now you're in your room stuck.
Can't see your friends,
yeah.
and you're doing things like this, but that's not the same. You
It's
know
not
what I
the
mean?
same.
Like, it's not the
You're not
same. And I feel
socializing.
bad for these kids because, you know what I mean? Unless you arrange a play date, and now with the play date, you might want to get a COVID test before
Yeah, you got to
the
keep
play
6
date.
feet.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
got the play date.
I'm saying that I don't practice that shit because we about to go shoot. We about to go shoot a comedy show in a minute. I gotta go to work after this. So I mean, but I feel it though. Like I feel really bad because this tests your immune system, and if you don't know what you got going on inside, like it's really scary out there.
No, it's scary. And I'm a hypochondriac. I think that, so I'm always, I was already opening doors with my shirt and stuff. So now you can imagine, like, I'm like, and it was so funny. I'm going to tell you something that's so funny, but it's embarrassing. Because this is when it first cracked, you know, when people were buying tissue and I had a basket full of stuff, you know, and this man, he was an old man and he didn't have on a mask. I mean, I had on the mask, the gloves. I had bought this rain jacket thing because I didn't even want the stuff coming in from the sides. I had on glasses. I was like, y'all not finna get in anywhere.
In the store looking like a creeper.
Fully suited, like hazmat ghetto style. And I went in there and the old man, I'm walking down the thing and he said, "Excuse me." And I was like, oh my, and I'm a counselor. That's what I do is help, especially an old man. And he was like, "Is this tissue or paper towels?" And he was holding them up. I guess he couldn't really see well. And I just, in my mind, my imagination, I just saw the COVID. He was like, "Is this tissue?" And I was like, I just said, "Oh my God, I can't." And I just ran away.
I can't help you, sir.
And I felt so bad. I said, "Oh my God, is this what it's coming to?"
You was suited and booted and you didn't help an old man.
I didn't help
sir.
A counselor did not help an old man.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, counselor
like
or
a
not.
movie.
Counselor
I'm so sorry, Mr. Whoever you are.
Counselor or not, you was suited and booted. Nothing could get in. You ain't shit, sir. Just so you know.
I'm not. You're right. That's a fact. Because that's how I felt when I was driving home.
You should have felt like you wasn't shit because you ain't shit.
I was like, you can't even help an old man.
You can't even help an old man. Now, if you only had on a mask, I could see it. But the way you just described you in the store looking like the ghetto creeper.
Completely. People were looking. I was like, I don't care what y'all looking at. Like, I was in there like
you was a ghetto creeper.
Yeah, but that made me, I still feel badly. You know,
nah, that shit's funny. Don't feel bad. That shit funny. I ain't shit either. I think it's hilarious.
Just the way I ran, like, no, I'm sorry. I can't help you. That's a true
Look,
story.
that sounds like it should be one of your skits or something. You should put
You really do. Look, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I might steal that shit. So if you see it
Steal
on
it.
TV, don't
Steal it, because that's a true
I'm
story.
like, this is the ghetto creeper right here. If you see that shit on television, do not try to ask me for no money, because I'm like, I told you I was gonna steal it. I own it now. So.
You got it. You can do something with it. I'm just talking about it, you know.
Listen, I'm about to put that shit on Saturday Night Live.
No, I feel that.
That's hilarious, though.
I know, and I just like.
He said, "I can see the COVID
It
coming
was
out his
just
mouth.
like, yeah.
So he was spitting this shit. The one missing their teeth, like which one is the
And he
same? Like,
probably wasn't. It was just in my mind. I was like, just sitting there with the basket, like shaking, and I was like, no, like I can't. And then I know
Right.
people were looking. You know,
you know
it's
what
embarrassing.
the thing that tripped me out about this whole COVID, first of all, why and even now with this whole everybody, the flu season is coming up and you can't have the regular flu anymore. Everything's
No,
COVID.
it's
So
everything.
now
Yeah.
the toilet paper and the all of that's becoming real, low in the stores now,
Yeah.
and then the bleach and all this stuff. So when this first happened and you go into the store, first of all, I never understood the paper towels and the tissue part. Like so
I didn't either, but
you
I
about to
started
shit
doing
your
it. I
life to
didn't
death?
even know
Like,
why.
is tissue gonna save your life, nigga? Like,
I
anyway,
don't know. I was like, I had a bunch of it. I think it's just group thing. Once
it's
it
just
starts.
because you know what I mean. It's one thing. Like, there's some shit that you should not run out of at your house,
Yeah,
and
no
toilet
doubt.
paper is the one. So why are y'all buying all this shit? You don't got tissue at your house already.
I do
Look,
now.
You know
I
what I
do
mean? Like,
now.
that
I
was just
got
a thing.
water,
Like,
everything.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I get going to the store buying a little 24 pack because you might feel like it's the apocalypse. But why are y'all buying? So you telling me that before COVID, you shitted on your hand? Like, I'm not
I
understanding
know.
what.
okay, see, look.
And then,
Look, we gonna
and
get back
then
to
with,
these
So
to
crazy.
and
these
then with us
lyrics.
as black people, and then with the bleach thing, I'm just kind of like, okay, so you guys are
You are
not
crazy.
sanitizing either. Because the way I grew up is this: when we wash dishes, and I still do this, I always have bleach. I pour a little bleach in the water. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no
so,
doubt.
so
No
y'all
doubt.
are not doing this already. Like, I'm
I
looking
have
at this
one
like,
bottle of bleach, but I don't know why I went out and bought so many more. I was like, well, if you can't have sanitizer, you might need bleach.
put
My
bleach on.
mind was just, I didn't know. And I was like, you might. I have 14 bottles of alcohol, rubbing alcohol at my
So,
downstairs in a box. I don't even know why I bought it.
you got all that damn bleach. You trying to be
Oh,
light skinned like me? What
I,
you got all that bleach for?
Okay, see, look, I'm done with y'all. We gonna get back to the end of
to
these
the
We
lyrics.
so
lyrics.
listen. I'm sorry.
I,
We so off task. I apologize,
I
but
have a 64-ounce bottle of
Y'all,
Windex, and
a
I don't know why.
64 ounce of Windex for how many windows you got?
These are
for
the
that
only
one right
windows in
there.
Them
my
is
house.
the
No, I'm just
only
kidding.
windows. I'm not finna play with you.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not finna play with you, bro. Like, you are killing me. 64 ounces of
For
Windex
for the
ain't that
inside
much
and the
shit.
outside.
For the inside, you clean the outlet. COVID on the outside of the
And
window
the
is
Well, and then
outside.
I
okay.
found out it don't even help with COVID. You gotta have bleach with it. So I was like, okay,
So
well,
you pour a little bleach in your Windex. Don't lie.
Mix
You
it
ain't
up.
got a lie to kick it. You pour a little bleach in your Windex, didn't you? You
I
poured some
know
bleach
that's
in
what I
your
might see. That's a good idea.
Windex.
That's what I need to do. I thought it was a lost cause, but see, that gives me
I mean,
some hope for
pour
the
a little
Windex.
bleach in there, and you know what I mean. Don't pour a
But
lot.
these
See,
Just
two
a little
windows
bit.
are great. You see how
don't
clean they
the
are.
two
They are
I'm
windows
gonna
right
very
keep them
here.
clean.
clean.
They very clean. Where you at? What state you in?
I'm in LA. I'm
Oh,
in
you at
LA.
home.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I'm
at
at
home.
home.
So yeah, okay. It's sunny
I'm
out here
never
in
moving.
Arizona too. So you know,
If I love Arizona. Are you in Phoenix? You said.
I am in Phoenix.
I
Yes.
love Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix. People sleep on Phoenix. They don't know how nice
Say it
Phoenix,
again.
but it's so close to LA. I almost feel like it's kind of like the same neighborhood.
For me, it's like this. Like I'm from San Diego, so it's close enough to home, yet far enough away.
See,
You
yeah,
know
and
what I
you
mean?
real close because you from San
Yep.
Diego, so that don't take you no time to
And
get.
LA and San
Yeah,
Diego is the same time frame. Either way I
yeah.
go. So since you love Phoenix, after COVID, because I don't want you walking up on me like the ghetto creeper.
And you know I
But
will. I got the
but
glow.
you the ghetto creeper now. That's your new name. But if you are in Phoenix and you doing something or something like that, just hit up Sydney and I want to pull up on it. So,
Absolutely,
but
I
I need
appreciate it.
backstage passes though. Like I want to be special,
Absolutely,
special.
That
you'll
part.
have me rolling, so I got to get you some pass. You'll have my energy right.
I do what I can. I do what I
No, that's
can.
right.
I do what I
So
can.
so look, so this is just the end of the lyrics here. It's you say, we're steady you're steady bobbing your head. I'm paid, so I got it made. But didn't
That's
always
how I
have
felt.
clout. Used to live in South Central LA. That's where I stayed and figured out a way. I gave it all I had. For what it's worth, I went from rags to riches, which is a drag, but now I'm first. So Ahmad and the Jones is on our way up. Yep. We said that we were gonna make it since a kid, and we finally did. But sometimes I still sit and reminisce. Think about the years I was raised back in the
Back in
day.
the day.
That's so dope. I
We
love
said
hearing
we was
people
gonna
read
make
those
it with the
words.
kids since we did. Like, yo, like back in the day
I
when I
know.
was young, I'm not a kid. Like, you know, as soon as it comes on, like for me, like I don't need no lyric to come up. All I hear
Yeah,
is that
Hear the
first, like
beat.
the first 3 seconds, and I'm like, oh shit, that's back in the
I
day.
know. And you know, I would if I didn't give Teddy Pendergrass his props and the whole Philadelphia sound,
You
because
did.
that's
Oh,
where that. Oh,
definitely.
I did. Okay, because that Love TKO record is the record I always love. You know, we grew up to that.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Mm.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. And I had
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
written back in the
Dun-dun.
day to another beat. When I was at my girlfriend's house
Oh,
listening to Teddy Pendergrass, and I started singing the hook to Back in the Day, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm gonna remix it." And that's when that's
mm.
the one that blew up was the remix. Because back in the day, if you listen to that album, there's two versions: the original version and the remix.
I don't
And
like
the
the
remix,
original version. I ain't even
I
gonna
don't even
lie.
like the original version.
I ain't gonna
Now,
lie. So
yeah, compared, especially compared once you hear the remix. So that's how much a beat and that
that was
music
a
can do.
dope idea to do. Like that
It
was
changed my
genius.
life. It changed
That
my
was
life.
genius. It really did. Like that was genius. Cause the other one, like you said, I wouldn't have liked the song either. I'd have been like, this shit,
Yeah,
like,
you
like
know,
nobody finna listen
Yeah.
to this. So, but
and
that
in a way,
remix
I wish
though,
I would have used more old school samples and kind of made that my thing. Like take an old school sample, put a new song. But I didn't want to do that. I was like, an artist, like I said, sometimes being an artist is good, sometimes it's bad because you're always trying to press and do something new and innovative. And I think that
Right.
it's been my blessing and my curse, you know.
Right.
right?
So what you
Yeah.
saying? What you're saying that your latest ventures, you have we celebrate life plus people.
Well,
Explain a little bit about that.
we clap is kind of like the motto for my show. We celebrate life and people. Um, and so that whole week clap is kind of like a mantra. And I'm going to end every show reminding people of kind of what the show is about. But my real point in saying that is what we should be doing on a daily basis. What y'all are doing right now, celebrating me after the interview, I'll feel better. Like, oh man, people appreciated me. The people who see it will feel better, you know, and I feel like that spreads love. So I want people to, that's kind of like my little saying. Like when I end things, I always say we clap, which is like my slang for we celebrate life and people. It's an acronym.
That's
Um,
very nice.
yeah, just trying to remind people of what my motives are to celebrate. So
Mm.
my show, it'll never be about like gossip on what happened to so and so and all this.
Mm.
It's always going to be, if I do mention a celebrity, it'll be to talk about how they motivated me or
Something
inspired
they
me. Or,
did, something
yeah,
positive that they're
yeah.
doing. Yeah, I get that. That's what's up.
Because I think that's needed right now too. We get enough of the other side. So I'm always looking for what's not there right now.
That's what's up. That's respect. Make sure you let us know when it does drop so that
I
we can
will.
kind of
Thank you.
like, subscribe, and share. Like we want y'all to
Yeah.
do
So
with our show. Like, subscribe, and share,
Yep, that's right.
and
yeah, because
drop our
are
cash
you
app.
on social media like that?
I'm
Because you
on
just on
I'm
Facebook,
on
right?
I'm on IG, which is one of the best ways to hit me is the underscore Ahmad underscore show. So the Ahmad
Drop that
show.
in the
Yeah, we'll put
can you
that in the
drop that in the
comments.
chat? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put
And
all
so
that.
that's where and people can contact me there, find out what I'm up to. And Facebook too. I
I'm gonna
usually
be
post.
following you on Instagram, seeing when you come to Phoenix though, because I want my
Yeah.
backstage passes.
I can't wait till we can travel again, you know, and I had done a couple shows before everything shut down. I did one old school hip hop show at the not Staples Center, but right next to it, Microsoft or whatever they're calling it
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and that
Upstairs.
went well. It was, I don't know, it was in a big room, a lot of like old school hip hop fans, and we rocked it. But I'm kind of like, I even told myself after that show, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of old school hip hop shows because to me, it's almost like being stuck in a moment. And I feel like I put so much energy into that I'm now focusing on what I'm about right now. And I think sometimes if you spend too much time, even though it's paying, but if you spend too much time spending your time doing what you already did and kind of celebrating that for a check, you might be missing out on things that you can be exploiting right now and doing
Right.
today that could even be bigger than what you did. One movie, just think about Get Out, that movie Get Out. He didn't, even if you didn't know about anything else he ever did, that's one of the biggest horror films in the history of horror films. It ended up helping him do the next movie, Us. And now he has basically like a multi, like
Lovecraft Country. Have you watched that?
Yeah.
That's just dope.
And Lovecraft, he's doing that. He's doing the Twilight Zone. Just got like $1 billion
Twilight Zone
deal.
is dope too.
So I'm like trying to get there. Where back in the day, it'll look like, oh, that was a good start. That's where I'm trying to get to the point where we look at back in the day.
I agree. That's
what I'm saying.
I like it. That's what's up though. Like I like that.
And
like,
that's that's definitely good. Like that's something like it's different avenues. And it's good, how you said, you want people to show the growth in you.
That's right.
I'm still a little sad that you ain't doing no shows, but I pull up in LA too. Like it's only 5
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm not, because if they hit me with the right check, can you come do back? Yeah,
he said the right check.
I will be there. I need more Windex.
With a little
Windex.
With a little
bleach
in the glove.
Looking like the ghetto creeper, but I'll be there.
I gotta pay for them gloves.
Open my goddamn door. I want nobody to touch me. I want the band 7 feet behind me. I don't trust that
part. So look, Ahmad, we appreciate you coming on. We're gonna let you get back to your, filming. But there's what we do towards the end of the show, and you can if you like, but if you don't, then that's fine. It's kind of like
because we ain't paying you. We ain't gonna pay you, so if you don't want to do it, we not giving you a check. So
let's just start with that up front.
This shit free 99.
Wait, did you say free 99?
I said free 99. Unless you want to get us some, if you want to give us some Cash App money, it's Vinyl Conversations.
That's so funny.
Hey, look, Jam. Look, Jam.
That's what I'm gonna do on my show. Tell the guests to Cash App me.
Listen, you ain't gonna give me a check. Just send me a bottle. I'll be on your show.
That's right.
I like Grey Goose.
Oh, I thought you meant one of my rubbing alcohol bottles.
I don't want that type of alcohol.
I got 14
You trying to trump me? Are you trying to trump me? You trying to get me to drink some bullshit? Oh.
And don't even get me started about Trump. I don't want to even get political. I'm so happy he's out. Yeah, but I will say that.
I'm with you. Goodbye, sir.
That'll be another show.
Let her ask her free 99 question. My bad.
I'm gonna try not to be too political on my show, but sometimes I get so invested in these things, and I'm trying not to, because I feel like they manipulate us a lot of times, giving us information on both sides, and it riles us up, and we keep fighting. And I know that that's a game,
It's an absolute look. The Democrats only care for us when it's voting time. They was calling me, showing up at my door, like they was like my boyfriend, like, hey, voting committee.
Man, and you're right. We laughing, but that's real. We're gonna see how they treat us this time after the election, and then they gonna treat us the same. Well, thanks, I bet you in 2024 it's gonna be a problem if they do
that part.
Yeah.
Okay,
See,
let her ask her free 99 question.
You can have those balanced conversations, on your show. You can flip it the way you want. Just like how we didn't went off topic.
I know.
Way off topic, but it was fun though. Shit,
it's fun. That's what we do. That's what we do.
It was fun.
I bet you remember this interview.
I will. I can't forget.
And my name is Tamarisha.
The Grim Reaper.
When somebody come back and they be like, somebody said she called you the ghetto creeper. She said you was on her show. She trying to get backstage. You gonna be like,
I can't forget it. I'll be like, let her in. Let her in.
Look, cause she definitely gonna be all dressed up like that too. She gonna be dressed with the whole gear,
rain gear. I'm coming like Jeepers Creepers in this bitch. Like,
oh man,
my bad. We get knocked out. We get
everything. It's so funny.
Okay,
I had so much fun. I appreciate you. Just so I can tell you before she asks her question, I appreciate it. I had a good time.
No, thank you. I appreciate you. I really did.
You dropped a lot of knowledge for us. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, look, and shout out to Tim. That's one of our homeboys, because he kind of because we kind of connected on Facebook through through Tim too.
That's right. So yeah, I do. Yeah,
I was like, who the fuck is Tim?
yeah, no, that was dope. 'Cause he was,
The mutual friend of ours,
I was like, who the fuck
Tim.
is Tim? Tell Tim we
3D.
need some other people on here. Anyway.
Look, anyway, look. So you want to take us out on the lyrics, on the
you know,
hook,
the hook.
or
So let me.
something else?
Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Peace. I
And
love.
everybody say,
I
Yay!
remember
Thank
way
you,
back
Ahmad.
when. So
I
yeah,
remember
follow
way
me
back
on
when.
Ahmad
Thank you,
Show.
sir.
The _ Ahmad _
Oh, I'm about to follow you. I already done told you, so we
Yeah.
good.
because I'm coming with a
So
lot
we gonna post all that.
of stuff, and I'm just excited to be back. And when you see my doc, I think people are going to be tripping at like where I've been, kind of mental health things that I'm talking about. The reason why I had to do so much work, and why I think that stuff is going to help other people. Everything I kind of had to do the hard way. I'm hoping people won't have to have it as hard, by coaching.
Right.
That's
So
what's
look,
up.
when you release it, let us know so we can, kind of, do something like
We'll
some
push it
bring you
for
back
you.
on here and we could talk,
Okay,
talk more about it.
perfectly. I appreciate it. Yeah, we
All right.
will. Thank
I'm
you
gonna
All
have
all.
right.
jokes,
Thank you,
but we're gonna
Ahmad.
push it.
Okay, y'all have a good one. Peace.
Bye,
You
boss.
too. Peace.
All
Thank
right now.
you.